What's up, guys? Let's talk about the best extension on Pokemon Showdown. If you've ever been in a situation where your timer is getting low and you wish you had time to run a damage calculation, this is for you. This extension is called Showdex, and it is constantly bringing up automatic calculations and updating things like the opponent's items, health bar, status conditions, field conditions, and more. Before I go over how to utilize this incredible tool, here's a quick guide to install it. Go to Google or whatever your favorite search engine is. Look up Showdex, click on the first link here, and this will come up. For me, it says remove from Chrome. For you, it'll say install. Click that and go through the typical installation process for any extension. Now, when you next go to Showdown, it will automatically appear, and if it doesn't, there will be a little button here in the battle where you can pull it up in the battle chat. Now, there are a ton of useful features here. Say I'm deciding my lead, right? And in this case, it will bring up the team that you have. So here I am on my alternate account. I've got an Assault Vest Conkeldurr. Here is my Assault Vest Conkeldurr with the exact EVs I put in. Now, your opponent's sets will be guesses based on what some common sets and EV spreads are in the current metagame, so you can't trust them exactly, but it gives you a reference to calculate against. For example, maybe I want to know how my Conkeldurr would do against a Darkrai lead. So I look at here, look at some damage, and I say, okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, maybe against an Iron Valiant lead, though, that Moonblast is not looking so fun, and I don't have any great moves to hit an Iron Valiant. So those are more obvious ones, but there are some cases in which you really need a specific calculation, and there are a lot of helpful things you can do. So some of the more useful features, on top of being able to add things like, light screen, reflect, weather, terrain, and this will update automatically as well, you can also change your opponent's sets. So this is particularly important since oftentimes the opponent's sets won't really be realistic. For example, this Iron Valiant may reveal Swords Dance, and the calc will not automatically update to change these EVs. So obviously, if it's Swords Dance, it's probably not Naive Nature, and it probably has max attack investment. So you can add those EVs in and make that max attack. If you want, maybe the special attack, not having that becomes irrelevant, so you can go and turn that to 0. So mostly what you're going to be doing is changing these EVs, or maybe you change the item. You realize, wow, that Moonblast did way too much. This is not Choice Scarf. You can change it to Choice Specs. And you can change your own team as well, but given it's going to be exactly accurate from your builder, most of the edits you'll be making will be to your opponent's sets. Now, I will warn you guys, this calculator does have some limitations that I want to warn you about. So I can just showcase one right off the bat here. Let's go with a lead of Conkeldurr, and I'll go to my other side here. And opposingly, I'll lead with Gholdengo. Right now, we can look here. Start this game off. This is coming up as my opponent has a Air Balloon Gholdengo. So this is obviously not the case, right? So the calculator, the main warning is the calculator does not know your opponent's sets. It makes a guess, and this guess may not even be statistically good. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're sets that are really quite rare and or out of date, and in a case like this, maybe a set that is even impossible, right? Because if this was Air Balloon, we would see that this is Air Balloon. So basically, you cannot trust the sets at all. Now, it's still really good information, but if you're in a game where you're facing a Gholdengo on, say, a Sticky Web team, it's not going to be this defensive. So don't look at this calc and say, the Gholdengo's at 70. I don't think I can switch out. No, it's a web set. It's not going to be bold. It's going to probably be modest or timid. It definitely won't have defense investment. It might have HP investment. So you can see, okay, 70, that's looking pretty good. And it probably isn't max HP if it's on a Sticky Web team too. So just make sure before you make decisions based on a calculation, you are checking that and making sure your EVs aren't something really rare, really out of date, or something that your opponent wouldn't actually have. Now, the second warning I have is that this is not something you should be looking at every turn. Like for example, right? In the case of, say I switch here into Dragapult, right? And my opponent goes into Darkrai, right? Okay, in a case like this, you should know that Darts is not going to kill here. Now, you might not know, and that's totally okay. That's the kind of thing you develop as you go over time. But if you're looking at this for every single calculation, that's not good. Because even though it's quick to see, it still takes time to look at this and verify that the EV spreads are what you expect. It is still a really good thing to have head calcs, as they're called, calculations you know just from having tier experience. They are still very important. So being able to know approximately how much damage things do is essential for creating a proper game plan, thinking ahead, and just understanding your positioning in the game as a whole. And if you need to run calculations every turn, you're definitely misusing the tool. So having a sense for roughly how much damage things do is a very important skill. Now, that being said, I still definitely recommend this extension. It saved me a lot of time on the rare turns where I do need a very specific calculation, and time is absolutely of the essence in competitive Pokemon. The link to the page where you can download this will be in the description. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.